lot of customers come in here to buy meat, and we want to demonstrate to them in an easy way what a prairie looks like.
Yes.
So this is a tall grass prairie. It's meant to be diverse with flowers and grasses in it. It has many benefits to society in that the first one being that it fosters bees. It provides nectar and habitat sites for native bees.
Yes.
The roots are tremendously deep, 12 to 16 feet deep, so it sinks a lot of carbon. The root ball regenerates every 2 years, puts a lot of carbon, in farmers' parlance, a lot of organic material into the soil. It filters water. It provides the perfect habitat for a lot of grassland birds. In other words, it provides a real suite of benefits. We've happened to figure out how to use this to feed our cattle at the end of the season when it's done doing everything it's supposed to do for society. The first one in the front is a switchgrass plant. You can see that's one individual plant. That's the first thing you should notice different about these grasses. They're not sod forming, they're bunch grasses. That plant is enormous even though it's only about 4 years old. That plant will continue to grow for 1,000 years.
Amazing.
Like a tree. This whole complex helps feed each other. Anyway, switchgrass is the common one. Right next to it is big blue stem. The third grass that's in here, I can't find some immediately, is Indian grass. They're all native to this part of the world. The flowers that are represented here is a 9-flower mix. The mix that we selected out of the 52 that sort of could go in this mix are all, we selected them because they're all edible for our cattle.
Right. And I do see, as you mentioned earlier, how they draw in insect life. Now, there have been some concerns about the health of bee populations. Have you anything to share in that regard?
We've done a pretty good job at cleaning up our landscape to the point where these animals that are vital to our well-being and our livelihoods and our life, in fact, just don't have anything to eat anymore. We've cleaned up the landscape. We've taken the pollen and nectar. These are native insects that have been here for a long time that need pollen and nectar to survive. We've cleaned all that up off our landscape. This is a good demonstration to show that we can provide a resource for them and feed up my cattle at the same time.
Yes.
Or, in other circumstances, maybe have a pollinator set aside on the land and have free pollination services on a crop like tomatoes. I've planted 48 acres alone on this farm, 20 acres down at my dad's in addition to that. So we've got a lot of farmers involved. We've got 150 farm families now in Norkfolk County involved in the ALUS program. This has been a very popular ecosystem of choice for them.
Perfect. Now you mentioned ALUS, which is an acronym. For someone who might end up watching this video, could you explain what that term actually means?
The acronym stands for Alternative Land Use Services. It's pretty simple. A farmer, from the farmer's perspective, look at that acronym and say, you will use your land in an alternate fashion and produce a service we've never contemplated before. We call them technically ecological services. The easier term to digest is nature's benefits. We all know what benefits nature accrue to us, whether it's through the water filtration of these plants, whether it's through carbon sequestration, whether it's home for grassland birds or endangered species. These are benefits to accrue not just to the farmer, but to society and indeed the world as a whole. So it's neat that we're putting farmers in a position to actually harness their productive capabilities to produce something we didn't contemplate before and to get rewarded for that.